creepy people. This is Tale of Two Dead Girls, and I'm your host, Kayla.
And I'm your host, Kale.
And this is our Morbid mini episode, and I don't know what number, so...
It is 16.
What? Really?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It is. I'm looking at our analytics. Our last Morbid mini was Morbid mini 15 on September 24th.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is.
Have we really... Wait, but But can you check our other episodes? I don't know if that's right. We've had 16 Morbid minis.
Yeah, because I filter it by date created. Yeah. So February 23rd, 12, May 2nd, 13, July 13th, 4 was Morbid mini 14, and then September 24th was Morbid mini 15.
What the hell?
I know, it doesn't feel like we've had that many. Well,
Wow.
I mean, I've only been a part of like 5, but still.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm
Something
so
like
turned
that.
around. Well, anyways, thanks a lot, guys, for bringing us to our 16th Morbid mini episode. Wow, that's a shock. I really didn't. Okay. Well, anyways, hello, guys. Welcome. This is where we share the stories that you email to us, your own experiences, or people like your family members' experiences. So we'll just get right into them. We have 3 for you today. And get ready to be spooked shitless.
Spooked shitless.
This one is called Why My Dad Believes in Ghosts from Kira. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Hi guys, I just want to say that I love your show. The story isn't mine, it's actually my dad's. So, my dad grew up in Virginia, and he's kind of been everywhere. He's told me stories about his time in the army and his time as a security detail for a celebrity golf game. Listening to his stories is one of my favorite things, and I never get old of them. And this is a story that he told me when I was in probably 6th grade and first started to believe in the paranormal. So when my dad was about 18 or 19, he had a job working nighttime security at the cemetery near his house. He would start his shift at around 9 or 10, and his shift would end around 5 from what I remember. Also, side note, at this cemetery there was a grave that was specifically designed for a person the townspeople believed to be a vampire, and another one that was made specifically for a woman believed to be a witch, that were both made around the same time of the Salem witch trials. So the place already had a history of some supernatural stuff going on. At the cemetery where he worked, there was a small hill where a few random graves were located. This is important, and you'll see why soon. He was kind of used to seeing people, mostly teenagers, that would hop the fence to see if they could get caught, or adults paying a nighttime visit to a loved one. So one night, when he saw a woman wearing a white dress standing on the hill, he climbed up to the hill to tell her that the visiting hours were over and escorted her out. The hill wasn't super tall, so he was confused when he got to the top of the hill and the woman wasn't there. There were no footprints, and it had just rained, so if someone was there, there would most likely be an impression on the grass. He could see the ground from every direction where he was standing, and there was nothing that was suggesting the woman was even there in the first place. If I remember correctly, I remember the details around his encounter, but nothing much shortly after. I believe that he talked to a few of his coworkers and kind of put off about how nonchalant and calm they were about it. They assured my dad that she hadn't attacked anyone yet and tried to reassure him that she was fine, but my dad left his job shortly after that. And that's it.
Wow, that's an interesting story.
I think anything related to a cemetery is always going to be like spooky.
Oh yeah, me too. I love going to cemeteries and like just looking at the different headstones and stuff and just like trying to find like super old ones. But their cemeteries are just so creepy, like just so creepy.
I love them.
But I think it's cool that her dad got her into paranormal stuff at such a young age, because when I was that age, I was just too scared of everything. So I feel like it's good to like not be fucking terrified, like wanting to sleep on your parents' floor terrified, and more so like intrigued and like learning about it at a small age.
I got into the paranormal and like all of that stuff when I was really young too, because of my dad also. Like he would listen, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in another episode, but he would listen to Coast to Coast, which is a radio station, and we'd listen to that at like night time because I think they had like a certain time of the night where that's where they tell like super spooky stories and like stuff like that. And
Damn.
yeah, like the first horror movie I've ever had or maybe even seen, my dad bought me It 1990. So
Oh god, dude, that movie traumatized me when I was a child. I was so scared to shower after the shower scene.
me too. And like the drain in the bath,
Yeah,
like just
that's
like the
that's the
hand.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ugh.
spooky.
I always loved scary stuff and horror stuff, and then I just would get way too scared.
Me too. Still the same.
Yeah, me too, honestly. All right, so I have a story here, and it says, "Hello, Kayla and Kale. My name is Liz, and I semi recently started listening to your podcast, but I've been super binging it while I get ready in the mornings and on my way home from work. Yay, another
Aw.
friend!"
Love it.
This was sent in August, so thank you so much. All right, so it says, "I love the stories you read, and there are definitely moments that I get super creeped out listening since most of the time I'm home alone when I listen. Anyway."
Ooh.
I have a few small stories I'd like to tell you about that I've experienced growing up and will probably end up being a longer email since they're all typed up, so I'm sorry in advance. Feel free to break them up into separate episodes if this gets too long to read in one episode. So, the first story I wanted to tell you about happened when I was relatively young. It happened in me and my dad's old house, which we moved out of at the end of fourth grade. I was asleep one night and was suddenly woken up by something running across my legs, down into my feet, and off the bed. I remember shooting up in bed and looking around trying to figure out what it was. We had one cat at the time, which I originally thought it was him running across me, but then I realized my bedroom door was shut and he wasn't in the room with me. After this happened, I didn't sleep on my stomach for years because it freaked me out so much. I couldn't shake the feeling of something unexplained running across my feet. Oh!
Ew, no.
Don't like that. Hate that. That's always my fear, like your feet hanging out of your covers and something just like
Yes.
grabs it.
Yeah.
No. This is like a sidetrack almost, but did you ever like hear that story growing up where like the girl would like put her hand down and her dog would lick her fingers to comfort her and she knew that she was
Ew.
safe, and then like one
No.
day it like she went into the bathroom and her dog was like dead and like cut up, and then
Ew.
he like
No, don't tell
found
me
out that there was
that.
like a guy under her bed that was like licking her fingers.
Ew. Who the heck told you this story?
It was like one of those weird, like, scary stories that go around your school, like one of those like folklores or whatever the hell they are. I
Oh,
don't know.
hell no. That is some dude licking your fingers.
I don't think it was a true
Ew.
story. I think it was just something made up, but that, yeah.
That's
Anyways,
so gross.
I always think about that when I hang my hand off the bed. I'm like, what if?
So, what if some man is under my bed gonna lick my fingers?
Yeah. So, all right. So Liz says, my next story happened a few years after me and my dad moved into our new house. I was probably around that 14 age frame when my main story happened, but I remember weird things happening in this house all the time before I moved out. The dogs would act weird, like whining and backing straight up while staring at an empty corner, and I could swear I would hear footsteps walking down the hallway before my bedroom was moved to the basement. There was even a time when my kitten was laying in bed with me and starting to follow something around the room that I couldn't see before eventually rounding the room to above my head, then ended staring right at me as if whatever he was following around the room was sitting above me. At that moment, I was like, nope, you can leave the room now, to my kitten. But the main story at this house I wanted to tell you guys about was once my bedroom was moved into the basement, I had a smaller dog who always slept at the foot of my bed every single night, so I knew he was always there with me. Wait, is this the same the same
What
story?
the hell?
Just kidding.
Ew.
This is the true story. No, just
Oh
kidding.
my gosh, imagine. Oh, imagine. Wait, what if this is the
It's
origin?
okay, let's find out.
Oh my goodness.
I always slept with the TV on for light because I'm a weenie and don't like the dark. Same.
Me too.
I always sleep with the TV on. Anyways, one night I woke up to the sound of crinkling paper in my room. I was facing the wall when this woke me up, and I was too scared to roll over to investigate, so I just laid there, motionless, except to move my foot slightly to make sure my dog was still in bed with me, thinking maybe he was on the ground messing with something and causing the noise. Unfortunately, he was still in bed with me, which meant I had no idea what was in my room making the noise. Eventually, I fell back asleep, and in the morning I looked on the ground and there was a piece of paper bag sitting on the ground in front of my bookshelf, and on the ground next to it was the Bible I had on the shelf. I'm not religious by any means, it was just a Bible I was given by the after school program I attended when I was younger, but it was enough to confuse me slightly that I was hearing these weird noises when I woke up to the Bible on the ground next to what was probably making the noise the night before. The odd part about this story was even when I discovered the Bible in paper bag, I was weirdly calm. I had the sensation that whoever did it didn't mean me any harm, which is why I've always believed and trusted my gut that it was my great grandma, who had died less than 10 years before, who pulled the Bible off my bookshelf. She was very religious in her life, but I was also incredibly close to her up until her death. I would like to think of this event as her telling me that she was there with me. Aw, so that ended up being cute.
So, not a man underneath her bed licking her fingers.
Thank goodness.
Oh.
Looks like this is the last story before she sums it up. So, a good chunk of time later, almost 10 years actually, me and my husband bought a house together. It seemed pretty calm for the first couple years, then I started noticing really small stuff. Again, not a lot happened, but enough to make me wonder. Both me and my sister have experienced my dogs whining and freaking out like someone was at the door to the house, but there's no one there. The way they act when someone is at the door is way different than how they act when someone is walking by. So that's why this really stands out. One time, when my sister was dog sitting for us while we were out of town, she started texting me saying the dogs were acting that way again and that the doorbell rang. She went and checked it right away and there was nobody at the store. Oh, I think she means the door. There was no one at the door. She's
Mhm.
been super freaked out by our house since. Another thing that happened was while me and my husband were laying in bed one night, he was already asleep, but I stayed up doing stuff on my phone for a bit. Eventually, it felt like the bed was shaking or vibrating. I instantly froze and I couldn't get myself to move because I was so terrified. One of our cats was at the end of the bed looking down on the ground, trying to figure out what was going on too. This gave me confirmation that I wasn't just making it up, that he was reacting to it also. Finally, it stopped, and my cat jumped down to the ground, which is when I knew it was probably safe enough to get up to go check too. I hesitantly looked under the bed, and all I found was our other cat just sitting there. I have no idea what caused the shaking or vibrating that night. My last story that I want to share is pretty brief, but still in the house me and my husband live in. This one happened a few months after my grandma passed away, who I was pretty close to as well. I was down in our laundry room digging through hampers when I thought I saw one of our cats walk by me in the corner of my eye. I turned my head to say hi and pet them, but there was no one else in the laundry room with me. Right after I realized I was alone, my gut told me that it could have potentially been my grandma trying to show herself to me. Growing up, my grandma raised Persian cats, and I always associated cats to her. She was also incredibly gentle in nature, much like a cat. So something just told me that day that the cat I saw in the corner of my eye was probably her. That's about all I have to tell you guys about. I'm really sorry about how long this got, but I really, really hope you enjoyed them. It's been a roller coaster of emotions through the years, with things terrifying me and then others making me feel at ease. Anyway, thank you for listening to my rambles. I hope you two have an awesome day. Love, Liz. Aw, Liz, thank you. Those are really good stories. I mean, I think that you definitely have some type of intuition in you that maybe you don't dive into too much, but then also it allows your relatives to like let you know that they're still thinking of you and they're still here. So I really like that. I think that you're right about your grandma's being there for you, especially since it only happened a couple of times and it didn't feel threatening or scary. Also, everyone stop apologizing for making long stories. We love them.
Oh my gosh, seriously,
Everyone says that. They're like,
please.
I'm so sorry if this is long, girl, boy. We want it to be
Who,
long.
girl, boy,
They, he,
they,
she, whoever
yeah,
you are,
yeah,
we love it. Send us long, scary stories. We love it.
yes, please. Okay, this one is from Kaylee, and it's titled "Sleep Demons."
Oh no.
So this one might be another
Sleep paralysis?
sleep paralysis, maybe. Okay, sleep demons. Hi, my name is Kaylee. I'm from a small city in Canada. When I was around probably 17 or 18, I decided to try and lucid dream. It was working and I really loved it, but one morning I woke up and couldn't move. I looked it up and realized sleep paralysis happens often from lucid dreaming, but it continued even when I wasn't lucid dreaming. And one night, it all changed for the worst. I woke up and again couldn't move. I was used to it by this point, and wasn't frightened. I felt something heavy on my chest this time. I opened my eyes and saw this smoky, glowing orb, and it was sitting on my chest and had its hands around my throat. Its eyes were just a dark gray, and I could see smoke curling off of it. I remember trying to struggle and scream, and I couldn't. Eventually, I fully woke up and it disappeared. I've never been sure if it was because I was in a dream state or if it was an actual sleep demon. I've often had sleep paralysis since then, but I've never seen the demon again.
Wow. That's scary.
No sleep demons for me,
Yeah,
please.
I don't ever want to try to lucid dream. Like, that's so scary to me. And
I do. I
I
actually
just
also like want to I have like some meditations for astral projection that I want to try because I'm like thinking since me and my boyfriend are long distance. Oh, by the way, you guys, I have a boyfriend now and he's the best guy on this freaking planet. Um and I'm very lucky. So shout out to you, Legacy. I know you listen to my podcast sometimes. So hi.
Oh,
But yeah, I was thinking that me and my boyfriend could like try to astral project and like be together in the astral realm while we're sleeping.
that's fucking scary. I don't like that.
No, I've actually seen someone talk about it on TikTok, and her girlfriend they I think they also did long distance. It was during the beginning of the lockdown, and they did astral projection, both of them, and they met up in the astral world or whatever, and they got to be together until they woke up or something like that. I don't know, it was really crazy, so I kind of want to try
That's so weird. I don't like that.
it.
It's just scary to me. Like,
Yeah, I
when
don't want to
people
see
like
myself, that's for sure. I don't want to see myself like my body on the ground, or not on the ground, but
yeah,
like in my bed.
it's
Ew.
like dying.
Well, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
Well, thank you guys for sending us your stories. We love reading them, we love sharing them. If you have any stories, don't hesitate to email them to us at taleoftwodeadgirls@gmail.com, and we will get to it sooner or later, but we will read it for sure.
Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe to us on your podcast website, Apple, Spotify, all that fun stuff. And please leave us a review. I did see that we got another one from the little girl, Abby. It's like 5 stars and it just says SAW, SAW.
Thanks, Abby.
Yeah, we love you.
Our returning listener. At least we know that she's still listening.
Right? That's the most important part.
Yes. Okay, well, that's it. And we're going to go now. So, bye.
Bye.